Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one today. We're going to be talking about the 2024 NBA draft class. Now they're halfway through, or kind of, I guess, halfway through the rookie years of the All-Star break. The Rising Stars game was just the other day. I don't want to talk about these 2024 rookies because there's been some impressive ones. There's been ones that I really want to talk about and I really like. I want to talk all about this class here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. Really appreciate it. We do hit the content around here. Consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications to also like that. I'd really appreciate it. We upset a lot. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So I'm gonna talk about the 2024 class. Really watching the Rising Stars game really motivated me to do this. I mean, I did this about a month or two ago, I want to say, about 2 months ago, about the quarter way through the season, checking in on the rookie class, seeing how the first 20 something ish games were going for them. But now that we're about 40, 50 games into their career and halfway through, just after Rising Stars, how good have they been? First guy I want to talk about, Stephon Castle. He's having a great weekend, Rising Stars MVP. Last night was in the dunk contest, which he gave a pretty good last round performance. The last two dunks are pretty solid. He's going to be in the All-Star game with the Rising Stars, competing against the All-Stars, and he's just been very good this rookie year. You can go back and watch all my draft stuff. I said it during the draft and all this stuff. I've said it multiple times. I feel like Stephon Castle will be the best player in this class when we look back in 10, 15 years. We look back at this draft and we say Stephon Castle is the best player in it, and he's showing it right now. I mean, rookie of the year right now, he probably has my vote for rookie of the year. It's between him and Jalen Wells, I feel like, for my rookie of the year. But Castle has been great. He's give you 13, 2, and 3. The shooting numbers have not been great. He's only shooting 29% from three. The only thing he doesn't really have right now is the jump shot. Obviously, we knew that was going to be something. But everything else, he's done. I mean, defensively, he competes a lot. He's got an NBA-ready body already. His ball handling ability, he told a lot of people to draft, I'm a point guard, I'm a point guard, I'm a point guard. And right now, he's not really the lead point guard, especially now having De'Aaron Fox. It's going to be interesting to see how his role adjusts now because De'Aaron's going to be the point guard, obviously. He'll probably be the two guard. And then his, attacking, I love his downhill, just be able to drive, get to the basket and score. I feel like as the years gone on, he's just been getting better and better and better. He had a 33-point outburst against Charlotte last week. He's been having some big games, playing in clutch opportunities as well, like in the fourth quarter, put him out there because he can really make plays. He doesn't really play like a rookie player. He plays like a veteran player. He already has an NBA-ready body. He already kind of is learning on the fly, doing so many different things on both ends. And it's just been so nice to watch him play. And just thinking about the situation, like how many rookies are in a better situation than Stephon Castle? When you're with Victor Wembanyama, who you know is going to be a superstar one day. Now you have De'Aaron Fox. You get to learn from Chris Paul and Greg Popovich, even if he's not there all the time. I'm sure he's talking to Greg Popovich. And an organization like the Spurs, who don't make too many mistakes and usually are one of the best organizations in the league. So, like, how many better situations could you be put in than what Stephon Castle has just been put in right now? Which is also why I think he'll be the most successful, the best player in this class because the situation he's put in. So Stephon Castle has just been amazing. I cannot wait to see him tonight in the All-Star game, see how he performs. See how the young players perform in that one. But Castle's been really nice. Jalen Wells, like I mentioned, also him and those two are kind of like my rookie of the year, battling back and forth for it. But Jalen Wells has been so good. Give you 11 and 3. I think he's played the most games, on the second most games, and the third most minutes out of the entire class, but has the second most points only behind Stephon Castle. He has been very good on a really good Memphis Grizzlies team, a starter on the second best team in the Western Conference. Shooting lights out from three. He just knows his role. That's really what I love. He just knows what he does and knows his role, and he does it great. I mean, defending other teams' better players, and on the offensive end, he's just going to shoot the three ball. And he has nights where he just gets fire, hits 5, 6 threes, like just consistently doing those two things at a very high level for a team that really needs that. So Jalen Wells, he's just been great, a top tier role player. He made my role player all-star team. You can go back and watch that. He made my role player all-star team because as a role player and as an impactful player, even though he might not have the craziest highlight reel or the craziest stats in terms of just making an impact on the game, he's been arguably the best rookie at doing that this year. So Jalen Wells, he's been amazing. Next, I want to go to the number one, number two picks, the Frenchmen, Zachary Versace and Alex R. Versace, he had an injury a little bit that he missed a couple games, but right before the All Star break, he was starting to catch fire. With Jalen Johnson out off the season, DeAndre Hunter's gone, so now he's got a lot more weight put on his shoulders. He's giving you 11 and 3 so far. The shooting numbers have been kind of on and off, But like I said earlier about Versace, I think he's having a kind of a little bit of an underrated rookie season. Do I think he should be rookie of the year? He's not my pick, but I think he's on an underrated rookie year, and you see kind of you see what the Hawks are going for when they drafted a number one. As a bigger forward that is skilled, he can put the ball on the floor, not afraid to attack the basket, get to the free throw line, 3-point shooting ability. Already kind of has a good IQ, knowing where to be, and I just like that he knows his spots and knows what his situation is with Trae Young, and he adjusts to that pretty well. Could be really solid defensively too, and I think he's been solid. I think he had a solid rookie year. Again, it's not going to be the most eye popping, which a lot of these guys on these lists are not the most eye popping names or the eye popping numbers or anything insane like that, but just being impactful basketball players and kind of you seeing the vision. For Zachary Sachet, I see the vision. I see the vision of what Atlanta's going for and what they want for him to do, and I think he's doing a pretty solid job at that. And then Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr had a little bit of a rough start, but I feel like the past month-ish, he's been starting to kind of pick it up a little bit. Averaging 11 and 6. The shooting numbers, not great. You know what he could do on the defensive end. It's been the offense that's really been like, all right, what's going to happen there? And he's shooting the three ball pretty consistently. And I think he's made a three ball. He's had a little streak of games where the 3-pointer made going, which is really nice. Him being a little bit more comfortable putting the ball on the floor, is also really cool. And yeah, it's gonna take a while for Alex Sarr to really develop and be there, especially being in Washington, But I can kind of see a little bit of a vision. Not as much maybe as Versace, but for Sarr, I see it, especially on the defensive end. I mean, already knows where to be a 7-footer on the defensive end that can be very versatile. But on the offensive end, if you can knock down the three ball very consistently, he can be a very impactful player. So then you have those two. You also have Kel'el Ware. That's really stepped up. In my last video, I talked about the rookies. I don't think I mentioned Kel'el Ware because he wasn't playing. And then all of a sudden, he's playing now, and he is very, very good for Miami. I want to look specifically at his game log because, yeah, so far he's played in, let's see, right here, he's played in 28 consecutive games. 12 of them, he started the last 12, so he's become an actual starter on this team. Give you 10, 7, a block, 36% from 3 on 2 attempts. He's had some great games. He had a 25-point game against Indiana where he went 3 for 4 from 3. 12 against Utah, 19 and 13 against the Clippers. And then once like the middle of January hit, like he started to really go off. He had a 25-point game against San Antonio, 20 and 15 with 2 blocks against Portland, 22 and 10 against Milwaukee, 19 and 10 against Orlando, 17 and 12 against Chicago, 10 and 14 with 4 assists. Yeah, his last game against Dallas, 17 and 9, and he 14 shooting. Three ball. He hasn't hit a three ball in a couple games, but just being a lengthy big that can play next to Bam in terms of he can protect the paint, let Bam kind of be a little bit of a roamer, but also, not being afraid to step out on the perimeter and play some defense, while also having the ability to knock down the 3-point shot and also being a good rebounder. Like, he just has the skill set. And at first, you can go back and watch the draft. Like, at first, I wasn't a big fan of the Kel'el Ware pick to Miami, but then I kind of realized, oh, wait, no. This actually could be a solid pick because they want to put a big next to Bam and have kind of that versatility there. And Kel'el Ware is very skilled. It's just about, can he... There are a lot of questions were about his motor and his work ethic and all that stuff, but he's showing it right now. I mean, he's showing it. He's balling in Miami. Is quickly running up the Rookie of the Year ladder. And he's just playing really, really solid basketball. And showing, why he was a almost lottery pick. So Kel'el Ware has been playing really solid. Other guys, that I feel like have been consistently just kind of there in the rookies. Zach Edey, obviously, he's been a starter over there with the Grizzlies. Not playing a whole lot of minutes, only playing about 20-ish minutes per game. But when he does that, he's impactful. 9 and 7. Blocking shots, being a lob threat, but also not being afraid to shoot the three ball. I was very interested to see how that was going to turn out in the NBA, but he's not. I mean, he's shooting 35% from 3. It's not like he's taking a whole lot per game. You know what I mean? He's taking, what, 1 per game. But, I mean, there's definitely some times where he's at the top of the key and he's just like, okay, no hesitation, pull it. So that's been pretty interesting to see. You also have Don't Connect over there. Connect. Obviously, he's had the whole situation where he was going to be a Hornet. Now he's back at the Lakers. He kind of was like a little bit struggling after having a hot start, but hopefully he can find his way back. Bub Carrington has just had a pretty consistently solid rookie year, giving you 9, 4, and 4, having some good moments, hitting some big shots. I was a big fan of I was at Covington, Carrington, during the draft process, and so far he's been pretty solid for Washington. It's been pretty solid. And I'm interested to see what his future looks like. Him next to Jordan Poole. Yves Missy has also been very good. He's been kind of a surprise. Thought he was going to be a little bit of a project type of player in New Orleans, and with so many injuries, he's had to kind of be the guy. I think he's honestly, he might have played the most games and most minutes with the Pelicans this year. Which is not something I would have thought coming into the year. I thought he was going to be a backup, play about 15 minutes per game, get to see what is he going to be, because he started playing basketball so late, kind of into his life, I guess. That he's supposed to be kind of like a project, and it take a little bit of a time, but eventually he'll get there. But so far, he's been blowing away expectations. 8 and 8, consistently blocking shot. I think he probably leads the class of blocks. I don't have blocks up here, but he's just been consistently there, paint presence that can catch lives, can rebound, block shots. But I think it's also been his scoring. Like, he's definitely had some moments where he's put the ball on the floor and got to the rim and got a bucket for himself. Or made a really good screen, made a really good play overall. And yeah, he looks a lot better than I feel like what people expected and what he should have been in this rookie year. Also because he was getting the opportunity because again, the injury bug has just hit New Orleans so hard. But Yves Missi I'm very excited for Yves Missi future. Very excited because I think he could be a very, very valuable, good big man in this league, especially after this, rookie year he's having. Tristan Da Silva, kind of coming off the bench now with Franz Apollo back, but he's still been very impactful. Give you 8 and 3. Making some good plays on the offensive end and defensive end as well. He's gonna fit right in. Um, Keyshawn. I said Keontae. Keyshawn George has been consistently there. I like Keyshawn. I keep saying Keontae because I'm a Keontae George. Keyshawn George. Keyshawn George. Keyshawn George. I just like his confidence, honestly. Like Keyshawn George does not care where he will shoot the ball. He knows my role is to shoot it. I'm gonna shoot it. There's so many games where he just is pulling up from three or just like talking to someone or making an attack at the rim. Like you can see the confidence is there. The confidence is there. It's really about just making the shot and learning, the game. But Keyshawn George, I mess with the confidence he has already. That's big. And then Jacoby Walter, I don't think he's playing as much as usual, but Jacoby Walter had a little stretch like in the middle of the season where I was like, oh, he was starting, he was playing really good ball, and I'm like, dang, like I like what he's doing. He's bringing some 3-point shooting, some engage in the defensive end, and I think he'd be a very solid player for the Raptors. Especially they kind of need guys that can shoot the three ball and do that stuff. And Jacoby Walter had a little bit of a stretch where I was like, oh shoot, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Then you have Quinn Post is kind of having his stretch right now. Quinn Post is actually like been a rotational player now for Golden State because they just need center play. And Quentin Post has been doing that. Being able to shoot the three ball 39% from three. Just being a big presence, a 7 footer. I think he's 7 feet, right? Let me check real quick. He is 7 feet tall, yeah. Being a 7 footer that can step out, shoot the three. Obviously, he's a big, but also just being a big presence in the paint, and screens on the defensive end. Like you can definitely see that he can fit in to this Warrior system. And so Quinn Post, he's been having his moment right now. He had a big game against the Bucks. I think he had a big shot, had the energy, kind of like the yeah, let's go. Like he's actually been rotational player as a 52nd overall pick. That's pretty nice. And which is interesting because I think didn't they draft Trace Jackson Davis like 52nd overall the year before or something? So something about the Warriors when they get to the 50s, they just hit big men. I also like what I see from Isaiah Collier. Like Isaiah Collier is actually like the starting point guard now of this team. And he has been very solid. He's played over 1,000 minutes, which I did not expect, but he's been playing good. Um, Finding his teammates, being a facilitator, being able to attack the rim. 3-point shot still isn't there yet, but that's something that was coming out of college. We expected that, so I'm expecting him to kind of get better. But yeah, just making big plays, closing out games as well. Finding his teammates. Like he's been very steady for the Jazz. So that's a pretty interesting fit right there. I think you have other top picks that kind of been finding their way recently. Ron Holland. I was very interested to see what Ron Holland would look like in his rookie year, what his role was going to be in Detroit. And it took him a little while, but now he's kind of found it as kind of the energy wing off the bench. You know, where Asar Thompson brings it as a starter. You take out Asar, Ron Holland gets right in there. You know, Ron Holland may not have the same play style as Asar Thompson, but he brings the same amount of energy and the same amount of just like fight that he has. You know, he had a play, I think maybe against the Bulls or something, where he got a steal, scored, almost stole the inbound. Like he just had like 3 plays in a row where it was just like he made a small. It was like he didn't have the ball in his hands, but he still made a play. Like he got a steal, stole the inbound, got a fast break layup, like got an and one. Like he just had like a 3 or 4 play in a row stretch, and it was like, oh shoot, here's Ron Holland. You know, he's not shooting the ball super well percentage wise or anything. He still definitely has a lot to learn, but I like him in this kind of energy type of role. And I think it's pretty nice. Matas Buzelis as well. Um, he's only playing about 15-ish minutes per game, not playing a whole lot of minutes. Expect that in the second half of the year to jump up. Now that they traded Zach and they're starting to play like young, I think he started like their last game before the All Star break. But I like Buzelis in terms of he also brings energy. He brings competitiveness to the team. The athleticism he brings. He's been decent shooting the ball. Not being afraid to attack the rim as well. And I'm very excited to see the second half of the year what he can bring to Chicago. He was in the dunk contest last night. And the things that sucked is I liked the idea. I loved his creativity. He just couldn't make the dunks. It was really unfortunate, man. Like I liked the first dunk. I thought that was going to be a 50 if he would have completed it, but he just couldn't make it. It sucks, but I'm very excited to see the second half of the year what he can bring. Rob Dillingham as well. Rob Dillingham was kind of just on the bench for Minnesota, and now with all the injuries he's had to play, and he's shown a lot. You know, he's shown the 3-point shooting ability, the ability to create for himself, and for others a little bit, just being a scoring punch off the bench. He's had some games where he's got 12, 13, 15 points off the bench that were really needed for Minnesota. So I'm expecting him to see a lot more playing time in the second half of the year as well, and hopefully he can kind of come up and do some things. But yeah, and then you have some other guys that are playing a lot of minutes, you know, are doing pretty decently all around. Yeah, I'm very excited, you know, about this rookie class. Again, this rookie class, you know, wasn't going to be the class that had 7 All-Stars in it. Not going to be maybe crazy names that are going to be average 27 points per game or anything like that, but you're going to get impactful players. And you're already seeing right now, there's been a lot of impactful players playing good basketball. Even if the numbers don't show it, they're playing it. They're being impactful. They're helping their team win games. And that's what this class is about. And I cannot wait to see more of it, man. Like that Rising Stars game really, you know, set the tone for me, kind of being like, yeah, I like this class. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, do also like that. I'd really appreciate it a whole lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.